glad you could join us. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate it.
I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Like, subscribe, share, though. Don't forget, please. Golly, bro.
Look us up already.
Help me out, bro. You see our background? You see we don't have a studio yet. I don't have a good camera. There's a lot of shit going on. I need you.
Hurry it up.
Subscribe.
Money.
Please.
I need money.
Shit. Anyways, what we're gonna talk about was it was a big topic. It's all in the news right now, and it's Joe Rogan.
Again. Rogan.
It's
always Rogan.
JRE.
Bro, it's funny. The more famous he becomes,
the more trouble he gets.
The more trouble he gets.
It's crazy.
Because it's like there are people out there like they can't wait, and they're like, oh, we don't want to take him out when he's young. We don't want to take him out as soon as he gets to the height of his career. We're gonna do everything we can to take him out.
It's the man.
Whoever that person is, bro. We'll talk about that motherfucker.
We'll talk about the man. Anyways, so yeah, Joe Rogan, man. The things crazy is, I'm gonna tell you, we both went to a live comedy show at the BB&T with Joe Rogan. Yep. What's crazy, so crazy, is he talked about
this exact thing.
This thing.
Now, by the way, to mind you, he did take our cameras. He took our phones or whatever we had.
I don't care.
He took it all away from us.
He already was ahead of this. Yeah. He told us about the video where somebody clipped the N-word saying it 17 times.
So he was aware.
So he already knew. People might see this and be like, man, like he
just did this?
No, bro. He had already when did we go to the show?
I'd say 6 months ago.
Whenever his show was at the BB&T, you could look it up. Whenever that was, we went there. He talks about this in his his little stand-up.
Yeah, like a one section where he talked about it.
And he says about, there's a clip that somebody's passing around, and he's joking about it because it's a joke at the time. Yeah. He's talking about it, and he says that somebody clipped, and he's saying the N-word. He said, when I saw it, that shit had me. Like, he was saying the same thing he's saying now, right? But somebody clipped the N-word, him saying it 27 times. At the time, we laughed at it. I'm like, that's fucked up. That's crazy. But I could see how somebody could clip something together.
And the fact that he was aware of it just goes to show.
But he already knew about it.
This is coming.
And that's what's so crazy about this whole thing, is that he's already talked about. So and that's when he saw us in the BB&T. Yeah. I don't know when the tour started. Right? Did it start in the beginning of the year?
It was the beginning of that month.
That's when the tour started.
That was when it just started.
Okay, so that's
the something circus.
But he already had this in his skit.
In his skit, yeah.
So
which means he worked on this a year before. So he typically with Rogan, he writes it. And I know him and Burr and all these guys very well when it comes to what they do. They work on that for a year before they ever put it out.
So he already knew about this, right?
And this, I would say the clip that they clipped in, I don't know who clipped it.
It was a bunch of different years.
But yeah, it was at least 2014, 2015.
And the thing about it is,
That's all right.
But the thing about it is like, listen, all the N-word things are out of context. They're like,
for sure.
He's just saying them. Like, I don't. Again,
you can take anybody out of context when they're having a conversation. Yeah. If you take one snippet out of what he's saying,
and just replay it,
add it, it's going to sound.
You could just
bad.
have me saying it is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is.
He thinks it is what it is. So
he thinks everything.
He doesn't care about anything,
right? So you could do that too.
You could change the narrative
on every podcast because it is what it is.
It's the way the media is these days. It's how they are already as it is. But I don't know if this is even a media guy who's doing. I don't know who the person is who keeps pulling these things out to try to find a way to cancel everybody. But whoever this guy is, I don't like you, dude. I'm over.
I just don't. We talked about this earlier. I just don't think it's one guy.
Yeah,
I think I think it's just people. Like, I don't know. I can't even explain it.
So wait, explain to them what happened, because maybe they don't know.
All right, if you don't know, Joe Rogan. He already has the argument with Neil Young and Spotify because
he put out an apology.
He put out an apology for that.
Which Rogan does, by the way. Rogan doesn't do that.
And I don't agree with the apology. No, I don't think he should apologize for anything. So Joe, I don't think he should have, but it
is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It was genuine.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt. But anyway, we're gonna wear the shirt to say it.
Might as well.
But anyway, so he put that out, and then right after that, somebody hit up a video of him saying the N-word 26 times, and they clipped it together. You can see his different eras, different times at his show. Yeah. Right, like when his background was different, when he had hair,
shirts,
when he wasn't bald headed, like you could see it. So it was a bunch of.
So they had to go
times.
back into the
and then every video was different context. So like
this video was
one where he was talking to a black dude about it, another where he's talking about the word being used in rap songs and being used in Django Unchained, and the one being used in Pulp Fiction and all that, right? Mm-hmm. So he he had these different conversations, and they all got clipped together, right? So that was the first part about it. Then there's a part where he's on the podcast talking about going to a movie theater, and he's going to see the movie Planet of the Apes in Philly, and the guy was like, "Oh, take me to this good place," and he took him to the place, and he said, "Man, it felt like, you know, I was in like Africa, like in the Planet of the Apes type of shit." And he said that. So, you know what I mean? And then he's getting backlash for all of that. People are canceling him and all that. But the thing is, like, my whole thing is like, listen, you can say whatever you want to say. We have freedom of speech. You can say what you want to say. People are gonna get offended. People get offended by everything. It doesn't matter. Like, you're not gonna say, especially if you're not in the public arena. Like, I can say a lot of things, and there's gonna be somebody who doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't gets offended. Somebody who's mad at me for saying it. There's always gonna be something like that. So that's the part I don't like about it. You know, like,
I think it's just frustrating the fact that not only are people going to try to drag the guy, and they're going to try to find a way to. I mean, every single 2 weeks there's something new that they're doing.
Well, now
they're cancel him
now
for.
He's like in the spotlight.
Right. Well, so, like, it's not. I'll tell you, because of the apology, on top of them trying to drag him, which he's never done before, is weird because you're adding a spotlight to it. So the apology portion of it is Rogan. Like, before, he wasn't saying anything, so those things would pop up and then they would quickly go away. And now that he's doing it, it seems like he's adding more fuel to the fire. But it's his decision, right? His apology did come off genuine, so I can't hate it. What are you talking about?
No, that's never where to go.
Oh.
So anyway, so what I'm saying is, listen, the apology thing is, listen, let me just tell you this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you apologize or not.
They're gonna drag
the people that don't like you are still not gonna like you.
Yeah.
That's why the apology thing. That's why I'm wholly against like apologizing for something that you said, especially in the past.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, for example, he had that tweet up in 2011.
Yeah.
For him to apologize for a tweet that was 10 years ago is crazy to me.
I agree.
Right? He could have been. I don't know how old Kevin Hart is, but say he's 40 now. He was 30, right? And what he said to me. To a majority of people, wasn't as bad as some people would make it sound.
Right, it's narrative. How do we find a way to cancel them?
It doesn't sound bad to me. To certain people, those are the same people that's going to get offended by anything. So I'm not worried about those people. So apologies, I don't get it. He apologized twice now, and but that's up to him. Is this his business? He can do whatever he wants to. He's a grown ass man. He could do whatever he wanted to. Do I think he needed to? I don't think he needed to. I think he could have left it alone and just went under the radar and kept going. I would say the same thing when I said the same thing about Whoopi Goldberg, right? And I said this on one of my videos on Real Talk with Mo, is I don't think she should apologize. It is what it is. You say what you say, and sometimes people misinterpret it or they take it the wrong way. That doesn't have any intent on it. Do I think that Joe Rogan is racist and he's looking at black people as apes? No. He sits by. He's a good guy. Like, to me, I don't even know him, but I could just tell.
Genuinely,
right? I'm not gonna be like. I'm not thinking that he's walking around like, oh my God, these guys are apes or whatever. I just don't feel that from him.
No, dude, he's a genuine good guy.
And at the end of the day, these are all just words.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to, like, as a kid, like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
It's just a word.
It's so crazy to me.
These are all just words.
They're just words.
Like that dude you just showed me that said cracker.
Yeah, Eric Adams, right? He said. And he says it. He's amongst a bunch of black people, right? And he's the mayor of New York. And he's like saying some shit like, I had to tell them crackers. What's crazy is I try to explain to people. Let me tell you what I explain to people, right? When I'm in the block, when we on the block, we say, oh, there go them crackers, right? When I say the crackers, I'm talking about the police. Yeah, most of the police are white, right? So you could do whatever you want to that. Yeah. Some of the police are black. But we still say, oh, there go them crackers. Right? We say that on the block, like, there crackers down the street, watch out.
Again, it's a word.
It's a word, right? We use it that way, right? So that's why I said about with the way with speech is, like, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like, he says crackers, I know what he's talking about, but he is a police officer, which is not the same context that I'm using that. He's using it as real white crackers. Like, he's saying white people are crackers.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's trying to relate to the people he's around. It is what it is, right? But he's not really getting the same backlash as Joe Rogan because cracker is more acceptable than niggas. Like, you can't really say niggas.
But this is another thing
unless you black.
This is another thing too. I was
got some black in you.
Do devil's
I'm half black, so I can say it.
All right, calm down. So anyway, devil's advocate.
You heard me?
All right, right.
You heard?
See, he's already getting upset.
Outside.
So that's what I'm thinking. Let's The reason why I was upset with that guy you just brought up, right? Eric Adams. It wasn't because of the words he was using. It's because of who he is. He's a senator, right, of New York.
He's a mayor.
Mayor of New York. Mm-hmm. For him to speak so unintelligently, on top of the fact that he could be ignorant. So sometimes, let's say, like we were doing this podcast.
Would you say Rogan is speaking unintelligently though?
No.
I'd say nigger.
No, I don't think he's speaking unintelligently. I think you gotta have
some problem with that one.
I think what does that have to do with what I'm saying?
Because you're saying he's speaking unintelligent because he says cracker.
No. I'm not talking about Rogan at all.
I'm talking about Eric Adams.
Yeah, I'm talking about Eric Adams.
I know. I'm just doing the devil's advocate of both sides.
What I'm saying is with Eric Adams is when you put somebody on a specific platform, right? You put somebody like a mayor of New York or the president of the United States, and he says something like that. Or you take Rogan, who's one of the biggest,
at that time, but go ahead.
Who's bigger than the news right now.
Yeah.
And he says something right now, let's say in 2022 on a podcast that could get him dragged.
Eric Adams. Hold on, let me just make sure so you understand, because he doesn't really know the whole Eric Adams story. That's past.
Oh, that's the past.
Yeah, he didn't just recently say that as the mayor. He said that before he was mayor.
Right.
He says about
he's not even important in the conversation.
Yeah,
I just brought him up to say the only reason why I felt a little bit of something in some type of way was because of where his position was at that time when he said it.
He was like somebody.
Now I shouldn't feel that way at all.
As a general,
right? I shouldn't feel that way at all because it's his speech, right? It's the way he's talking, is what he's saying. That's what's important. Yeah. And who he was talking to, again, I could take it out of context because there's a small clip. But the way I felt some type of way is because I'm like, dude, this is a freaking. Like, this is a big deal. This guy's a big deal. But people could do the same thing with Rogan. Because he's one of the biggest, most popular people on the internet or in the world right now, he makes him a target. So being cautious and being gracious, or how he's being non-ignorant is super important. So for him to apologize maybe about saying something that could have been ignorant, I would understand. On why he could just apologize.
Yeah, he's looking back at it.
My bad, dude. That's not how I meant it. I meant the way that the clip is done, and the way the video clips, and the way that they put it all on there is not exactly the way I said it. I'm going to give you exactly detail for detail, somewhat on how I said it and what context I did use it in, and then you guys can run with it all you want. But let me just at least clear the air a little on what that clip really meant. Because that's not the way I was saying it at all, and the way that guy made that video. So that's the So I understand why. In this one, I understand a little bit on why he said, you know what, let me just clear the air. Because again, he already did, when we went to the stand-up, he already's talking about it. So might as well just say it. Yeah. So that's, even the Neil Young thing I don't really get, but maybe he's just a fan of Neil, so he thought maybe, let me just say something about that. So it's only two. Think about how many times they try to drag Rogan in the past 2 years already since he's been with Spotify, and he's never came up and apologized for any of it.
Once he went against the narrative, which is, with COVID or anything like that, he didn't push back after that. It just is what it is.
Yeah, but I think these two things meant something to him because he's been dragged about other racist shit before. He's been dragged about COVID shit before, and he never came out with an apology for that. Notice that, right?
No, but it was the last one with Jordan Peterson.
That doesn't matter. He's already been dragged for COVID shit.
Well, he did. He got ivermectin. He's about the ivermectin thing. That was before.
Yeah, but did he come out with an apology on the internet with the video?
Yeah, he did it with the yellow face. Remember when they put a yellow face on him for an apology? Remember when CNN made his face yellow after he said about, ivermectin and stuff like that? They made his face yellow?
Okay, I'm talking about a separate video on...
Not the recent... apology. I'm talking about the one where he said about ivermectin. He hadn't grouped on after that.
Yeah, but did he come out with a separate video for that?
Apology?
That's not on his podcast?
Apology?
Yeah, man.
No, I don't think it was apology, but he talked about
That's what I'm trying to say. Listen.
Or he explained
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to my words. I'm saying he's never come out with a video just of him, not on the podcast, at his house, saying, I apologize for something. So I think that these two things, for some reason, got to him a little. Because he's a Neil Young fan. He does like the people that are on Spotify, and he doesn't want anything to happen, and he wants to clear up the air on that. And I think with the other one, he knew that video could be looked at a certain way, so he thought, let me just clear the air and at least put what's out of context into context. When you apologize
for it, you pretty much say that you were wrong, right? No. Okay.
He's just maybe what
I don't know why you apologize for it.
Because he didn't make that video. He did say those things.
Neil Young thing. I'm saying, why would you apologize?
Even with the Neil Young
did
thing,
something wrong?
because he worked with Spotify at this point in time right now, and he's saying, I don't want Neil Young to go anywhere.
Cover his face.
I don't want anybody to go any. No, if you listen to the thing, he's not saying. He's saying, I'm a Neil Young fan. I like the guy, dude. I don't want anybody to be upset or offended by anything I say. I'm just trying to make. This is what he said. This is what he's always done. I'm just trying to make really interesting conversations from different sides to find out what people think, and I'm just trying to make he's not even thinking about a podcast because he didn't even say that. He's like, I'm just trying to really have interesting conversations with interesting people. Yeah, that's how his whole. That's why he's as big as he is.
Every episode is.
So I think that it got to him that people could take that out of. People could listening to the narrative, and then Neil Young jumping on board, and these famous people jumping on board, instead of them looking at what Rogan's trying to do. Rogan's not trying to say I'm all for masks, or in the podcast saying I do believe in aliens. He's just getting somebody interesting on and talking about it. That's why he thought I should defend this. I think with Neil and with that Spotify thing, and I think with the racist part is here's a video that you guys are looking at it's out of context. Here's the context, and I apologize. I shouldn't have even used the word. That's the only thing he's really apologizing for. I should have never even used the word ever.
I don't think you should apologize at all for neither one of them, but go ahead.
I don't think so. I'm being devil's advocate, so I don't think you should apologize ever. I'm just saying, I guess as a fan of him and I've been very inspired by him. I can see why he would want to at least clear that part up and take a little bit of responsibility on if they're going to attack him. You take a little responsibility, if they're going to attack him just by using that word. Maybe that word shouldn't have.
I just don't think it's going to do anything.
It's not.
That's my problem.
But as for his character,
like if it's between
his kids are going to see this.
Like an argument between
his kids are going to see all this.
They're going to see it regardless. But my argument between me and my wife, or me and Louis, right? If I apologize, then he can either accept my apology. When you have an argument with the world, right, and you got 50 million on this side and 50 million on that side, not all 50 million are gonna accept your apology, and not these 50 million are gonna be okay with your apology. So the problem with doing that is, like, you just put yourself, like you said, he put himself more into the arena than he had to, but all the other times he ignored it. So that's why my whole point is, like, you could have just stayed out of it and act like you didn't even know what was going on and been good.
Say nothing.
But maybe it's the Spotify pressure of, like, like, hey, you gotta Spotify already removed 100 of his episodes.
Yeah, well, he was probably I mean, you'd have to.
They removed like 100 episodes or 70 episodes, I think it was. I don't know the exact number, but they removed them.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's like, maybe that's like.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. If you're a Joe Rogan fan and you didn't listen to those already, you missed them, because I've heard all of those 3 to 4 times already. Yeah. Like there were some really good ones, and there were some shitty ones, or some that weren't really.
I think Joe Rogan
before he got big, they weren't really produced properly either.
JRE is a great podcast. You should go watch, listen, go on YouTube, listen to him.
Yep.
Don't listen to nobody else. Don't worry about these words that mean these things that people are saying.
These
blah, blah,
narratives
blah.
They're creating.
Because everything is interesting. It's always good questioning. It's always good people on. Yeah. I love it.
I like the way he thinks. I like the way he interviews. There's a reason why he's as big as he is.
With that inquisitive mindset. Like, he wants to really learn.
And he's another free thinker, too. Yeah. He's not just thinking one way. And that's what they keep trying to box him in, too. They keep trying to put him into this thing and say, he's a this, he's a that.
But that's what I was saying about the whole thing. About the Spotify is what brung everything up. And then now they're just going to start throwing shit out that was, like you said, the N-word shit was 20 years of clips.
He knew this was coming, though, because another thing is, too, with YouTube, when Rogan was big on YouTube, he wasn't as big as he is now. So on YouTube, he was a little bit more safe on YouTube at one point.
Well, YouTube was more, but YouTube's platform is supposedly supposed to be different, because YouTube's platform is just a platform. Right. Spotify is a company. Private company that does it. YouTube can't supposedly, and that's supposed to be able to restrict your speech.
Well, I think what happened is that
Spotify can. That's why they can erase it, and there's no backlash.
YouTube started to. This is the reason why I believe why Rogan went over to Spotify, because YouTube started demonetizing. Right, for sure. But he wouldn't ever. He's not a sellout for money. He's already rich before Spotify. He's already fuck you money. Trust me, he's already fuck you money. He wanted some
more fuck you money.
Oh hell yeah, of course. But what I'm saying is, I think that because YouTube started demonetizing, and he couldn't use certain clips and do it the way that you produce the.
When he went to Spotify, they're gonna do the same thing.
No,
no. Erased 70 clips.
No. Have you seen the show now?
No. I'm saying, but they just erased 70 clips, so he just went from one to another.
You're talking about shows, episodes. They erased. Not. I'm saying the way he wants to do his show. He wants to talk to the guy and say, "Oh, wait a second, did you see this clip?" And then he can play the clip in the video.
He did it on YouTube.
He's talking about, yeah, but they stopped that last year he was working for him. If you go back, he wasn't doing it on YouTube. He was saying, "Look at the clip," and he couldn't play the clip.
No, but you can do that on YouTube.
There's certain things he couldn't say.
I don't know if it was just with Joe Rogan then, because you can replay clips.
If you go back to the last year he was there, they started fucking with him. That's why he left.
Well, now they fucking with him at Spotify. So he went from one boiling water to another pot of boiling water. Because now they fucking with him and they want to cancel him, which I don't think he owns all of this shit anyway. I don't think he should be canceled.
And you can still listen to all the podcasts before he got onto Spotify for free on YouTube, just to let you know. So if you want to do some catching up, whatever they deleted off of Spotify, you can still watch on YouTube, just to let you know.
Because YouTube is a different platform.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why we can say what the fuck we want on this thing. Anyways, so, you know what I mean? I love Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
If you hear this podcast, bro, don't apologize. Say what you said. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I appreciate everything you've done so far.
Yeah, good guy.
Just keep it up, man.
And I don't want to hear no haters talking about this and that, blah, 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 blah.
Whatever.
Suck a dick. I'm sorry. No, suck a dick. I'm just being.
Suck a dick.
Whatever.
No, you guys should suck a dick.
No, don't do that.
We need to find that guy, dude. Whoever keeps putting these weird videos.
We're going to find you. When we find you, we're going to shut you down. I'm going to shut you down. You keep posting these videos about people.
Get out of here. He's going to come after us next.
I ain't got no videos like that he can put